So it has been nearly a year since I started thinking about getting a mammogram. So everything started for me a year ago. It's almost my birthday. I'll be 42 this year. Last year I was turning 41, and it was in October that I started to think that I should probably get a mammogram because I was 41. And I had always heard in my life that women in their 40s should start having a mammogram to just check for breast cancer. So that was kind of on my mind. Hadn't given it too much thought. I've done regular breast self exams my entire adulthood. Not always monthly, but pretty regularly. Probably at least every 2 to 3 months at a minimum. And so that it's kind of been on my mind. I had taken some of my children to a doctor in early November, and at that appointment had said, I need to get a checkup. I had wondered if there was something weird on my left side. Wasn't quite sure and just thought I need to get a checkup anyway. So at an appointment with my kids, I said, hey, I need an appointment to come in for just my checkup. Haven't had one. So got scheduled in early November, and I had my appointment with a gynecologist the week before Thanksgiving last year. And they just said, are you worried about anything? I said, I feel great. Everything's really great. There might be something here on my left side. I'm not really sure. A lot of women have dense breasts. Mine, I don't know what it's supposed to feel like or not feel like. There wasn't a major noticeable difference, but there was enough of a difference that it was kind of like maybe. But it was only if I was like lying down and as if something's there to go touch. Funny. But anyway, so did my exam, checked everything else, and my doctor was kind of like, yeah, I can kind of see what you mean. We're gonna order a mammogram anyway because of your age. The order is good for a year. Obviously, I wouldn't put it off too long. Let's just find out what this is. So that's kind of how my journey started. And a year later, a very long year later, I'm feeling good again. Tired is my biggest thing right now. I just don't have the stamina still that I used to. Pretty tired today. I had a good long full week of work and all sorts of other great things, and I'm just extra tired this weekend, but so very blessed. And so for any of you watching this video, if you have thought about getting a mammogram, whether you're 40 or not, just go do it. Seeing my imaging just makes me recognize how much can be missed. It was just so slight, just ever so slight. But because we had felt something, my mammogram was scheduled when a radiologist would be there, that they could immediately read the slides and immediately do an ultrasound if they felt like more views were needed. And so that's how mine was first detected. Had my mammogram, they wanted some additional views, and there was just that spot because we could feel something. We did an ultrasound the same day. It was the day before Thanksgiving, and did an ultrasound, and even the lady at the time had said, none of this screams cancer. Like, I don't know what this is. Yeah, it looks a little weird, but it's not anything that I would say automatically is cancer. And she was going to let it go for another 6 months. And then she said, but because we're doing an ultrasound, let's just also check your armpit. So I didn't realize that a lot of women might not ever even get a lump in their breasts, but that maybe their cancer starts in just a lymph node in that same region. And so regional lymph nodes for breast cancer are there in your chest, your central region, and underneath your armpit. So they did a scan of my armpit, and there was an abnormal lymph node. And it was because of that abnormal lymph node that the radiation person, I don't know what their official title is, said we should probably get this biopsy. Now that there's two unusual spots, we should just find out what this is. But people, had I only had the one spot, they would have waited 6 months. Had I not been pressed to say, oh, this is a little weird, we should probably check this out, they wouldn't have arranged my mammogram to be on the same day as an ultrasound. So one of the biggest things I've learned in my journey is advocate for yourself. And if you have a reason, yeah, sometimes they'll be like, well, I don't know, well, insurance want this. Who cares what insurance wants? Because, I mean, obviously it matters, but at the same time, they will pay for it. Like, they were supposed to get pre-approval before they did genetic testing. And my doctor was like, we don't have time for that. We're doing this anyway, right? Like, there's programs to help. There's programs to help pay if your insurance doesn't cover this. And it's stressful when they're like, hey, this is going to cost thousands of dollars, but don't worry about it. We'll talk to insurance later. And I'm like, but my paperwork says we have to do this first. And they're like, you don't have time, you know? And anyways, advocate for yourself. We found mine simply because I had the thought that I'm 41 and I should get a mammogram. So lots of tender mercies of just getting on the path for imaging and biopsying. And it could have gone on for several more months, and gratefully it didn't. And we got moving forward. Even that whole first month, I didn't think I had cancer. It was kind of like, yeah, we need to check this out. The lady wasn't overly concerned. So much more to the story, but that's kind of just the first part of the story.